Hey there, friends and enemies, JoPa here again, and today I want to go over everything you need to know about the wildest activity that Bungie has ever added to Destiny, and that is the 12-player Grandmaster Excision, which is pure chaos right from the very beginning. So, first thing to note, you want to prioritize survivability. Whatever you can do to stay alive, heal yourself, heal your allies, it is an absolute must because you start off with only 4 revive tokens, and those go away very, very quickly as people get destroyed. And keep in mind as well that while you do get additional revives by killing champions and tormentors, you're going to burn through those very quickly, especially if you're playing with random LFG groups. So you want to stay alive as long as possible, even if you don't prioritize damage quite as much, because the chaos means that staying alive, survivability, extending the activity because there is no time limit is very, very important in order to make sure that you don't burn through those lives very, very quickly. There are all 3 types of champions and tormentors, like I mentioned, and these are the hardest enemies that you'll see. The recommended power level, the max that you can be, is 2020, but the enemy combatant level is 2040, so you are going to find that they hit like an absolute truck, and if you're not careful, you could possibly get one shot. So survivability is absolutely key. When you load in, one of the things I saw is people just scatter. Instead, you want to stay together, drop rifts, drop wells, stay alive as much as possible, get a rally banner down for a raid banner, and then rally to the flag and proceed to one side or the other, and that way you can cut off essentially half of the map, stay alive, stay behind cover, drop some wells like I mentioned, maybe a bubble or 2, whatever the case may be, anything you can to get behind cover, stay alive, and start going through the enemies. And if you can, start killing champions right away, so that way you can add more revive tokens as well. But the number one priority is going to be those tormentors, because if you kill them, that's what's going to allow you to get onto the plate in order to progress the mission. So once you are able to get on the plate, you essentially capture the entire thing. Then you're going to rotate to the next plate, kill the tormentor, and then proceed onto the plate and try to stay alive while doing so. It is very recommended that you move as a group. If you are playing with LFG players, then you're going to want to make sure that you are sticking together, because obviously players will run off on their own, but if you're with them, you can support them, heal them if you can, and also give them overshields if at all possible. So those are things to keep in mind for sure, especially in the beginning of this mission. As you proceed through, you're going to find that you're just kind of consolidating. You're going from one zone to the next, capturing them before finding yourself in the middle. And again, killing those tormentors as soon as possible is absolutely massive, because they can absolutely destroy an entire team if you're not careful. And again, burning through those revives can be very problematic. Once you beat that first part, you're going to proceed to the part where you see the witness, and just like regular Excision, it's going to have you killing some enemies. And once you kill those certain enemies, one on each side, again, tormentors who have huge health bars, then you will be able to gather the light, dunk it, and proceed forward into damaging the witness. And this is the part that I found that players really, really struggle with. You will have Saint 14, like the regular version, having a permanent Ward of Dawn up that you can pass through, but you really have to be careful, because the witness will drop his hand on you in different locations, and even in the Ward of Dawn, you can find yourself getting absolutely destroyed despite being in cover. So that is something to be aware of. Make sure you're moving, staying out of danger. The enemies, for the most part, stay back a little bit. A couple champions might push you, and so it's really, really important to focus on those champions who push up, so that way you can get those extra revive tokens, and then also make sure that you're doing enough damage, because the level that we are currently, while you are under leveled, you're going to find that the champions don't go down easily and will often regenerate all their health before you're able to take them down. And that can be incredibly frustrating. So if you see other teammates focusing on a single champion, help them out, get the champion down as quickly as possible, so that way it's not going to continuously revive itself and you're going to find yourself short on ammo and struggling with a bunch of champions as they continue to spawn. So couple things to keep in mind as well with the witness. When you're on the plate, definitely be aware of his attacks. You have plenty of time. It's not on a timer, the damage phase, so make sure you're staying alive. If you died to that part, it's just because you were not paying attention. The attacks are premeditated. You can see them from a distance. So definitely be aware of when the witness is attacking, because that can be an absolute run killer if you are not careful. As he's using his different effects, make sure you're doing your best to stay alive there and continue to put out damage. Some recommendations on loadouts: anything that you can do heavy damage from a distance, so heavy machine guns, linear fusion rifles, sniper rifles, bows, anything like that can come in handy, especially because you need to hit hard as you are under leveled. And again, anything that will be effective against champions as well. You're not really going to be running at 30, 40 levels under the enemies. You're not going to be running an SMG or anything like that. And to be honest, there aren't any real red bar enemies to worry about either. You're also going to want to make sure some players on your team are prismatic. So if you see that your allies are not, then you might want to throw on a prismatic subclass, because there are going to be some enemies that are going to have those prismatic shields and won't be damageable. So that is going to be very, very important. Now, other than that, a couple other things to keep in mind. One, as you are low on lives, as you are struggling to stay alive, make sure that you are helping out your teammates and helping them stay alive. The new auto rifle from the Pale Heart works wonders here for a survivability build. Having warlocks, having tethers, stuff like that, anything that you might look at as essential for survivability, that's going to be very, very important. If you are running a Titan, then having ranged options, but also barricades to make sure that you can get overshields for your teammates are very, very valuable. Now, other than that, the mission is not impossible, whether you are with a pre-made group or even with LFG. You can definitely get this done, but it does take a lot of patience. You have to work together, whether it's through voice comms or just visual cues, paying attention to what your teammates are doing. And overall, I think this is one of the more fun activities, and will get easier as time goes on as we level up, obviously towards the 2020, so that way we will hit the cap and not be quite as underleveled as we are now, because that delta that we're at currently is pretty insane. Also, people will perfect their loadouts. I'll probably have a build video for this new activity in the near future as well. So let me know in the comments down below what build you're rocking the brand new Grandmaster Excision with, and what is your favorite part, least favorite part. What are you looking forward to? Have you beaten this? If you didn't know, the rewards are an Ergosum Catalyst. I think you get a guaranteed Ergosum drop and some other things, some materials as well, which is really, really cool. So it's definitely worth completing at least once. So hopefully a lot of people are able to get it done. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Helps me out tremendously, shows you want to see more Destiny 2 content from me. My name is JoPa. Have a good one, and I'll catch you all later.